Well, hey there. It is December 28th, 7:30 a.m. I'm in Catawba, Kentucky, Western Kentucky, almost to Paducah. I'm on I-24, exit 40 at the Hucks Pilot Travel Center. And we're getting ready to jump on I-24, and then we're going to run the complete Western Kentucky Parkway to Elizabethtown. And it's a wild morning. There's supposed to be some crazy weather today. Right now, it is 70 degrees, but it is supposed to drop in temperature down to like 25 or something. Now, I live in Weirton, West Virginia, which is about 30 miles from the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium in Pittsburgh. So it's going to be 550 miles today. I'm down here visiting my mother, and I'm heading back. So I just turned right onto Highway 62, and now I'm going to turn onto I-24 East. And it's a couple of miles down here to the WK Parkway. So this is exit 40 on I-24. It is it's 40 miles from the Ohio River, where you go over into Metropolis. So this is my second attempt to make a driving around video. So my camera is a little bit low. I've got it adjusted right above where you can't see my hood. My camera needs to be a little bit higher, but I just don't have the right mount right now. So I have ordered some more mounts. So the Western Kentucky Parkway is 1 mile from here. And it's also this is also part of I-69. So it used to be, I'm from here, I know a lot of mile markers. The mile markers on the WK Parkway, they go back to normal after you go past the Madisonville exit. It's called I-69 West Kentucky Parkway. So the mile markers on here right now are going to be from Fulton, where I-69 goes into Tennessee at Fulton. That's where the mile markers are going to start at. So this is exit 42. We're getting on to the West Kentucky Parkway, I-69. Tell you what, I drove a propane semi. I'm driving a 2022 Tacoma, Toyota Tacoma, and it's just two-wheel drive, and it has a little bitty four-cylinder in it. So when I go up a big hill, you'll hear it shift down and all right. So now we're up on the WK. We're heading east towards Elizabethtown. It's 137 miles. So we're going to be running, 70 mile an hour the whole way. So it should take us right at 2 hours to get there. And this video is going to be every single mile of this. So I'm going to film all the way to Weirton, West Virginia today. So, it depends on what video you're watching. I'm going to be posting. So, okay, that's mile marker 69. Normally that would be like that's not mile marker 1 if you're on the WK Parkway. But since they made this part of I-69, until we get to the old mile marker 38, there's exit 71 up here. It's 71 miles from here back to Fulton, Kentucky, where it goes into Tennessee down to Union City. So Yeah, what I was saying is I'm going to film all the way back to Weirton, and I'm also going to show people how to go around the horrible construction and backups in Louisville. So if you don't want to get stuck in Louisville traffic for an hour, 2 or 3, I'm going to show you how to take the Bluegrass Parkway towards Lexington, and you turn at the castle, right before you get to the castle, and you'll drive through the country over to Georgetown and hop onto I-75 north, which isn't too far from the Noah's Ark encounter, or whatever they call it. It's like the Noah encounter, and I've been inside that. It's really a learning center. It's not. Yeah. The weird thing about it is that it talks about dinosaurs and how the earth was made and stuff in there. All right, there's exit 71. Exit 71 is Highway 62. I was on 62 when I left Huts. But if you turn left here, it'll take you to Eddyville, Kentucky. And if you turn right here, it'll take you to Princeton, Kentucky. Yeah, so the Ark Encounter, I think that's the name of it. A lot of religious people, including my sister and I guess her husband, they really dislike this place because it's not exactly representing their beliefs. So if you go there, you know, you're gonna see some stuff that's not in the Bible, okay? I really enjoyed it. I thought I was going to go in there and it was just going to be all about Noah's Ark, but it's really an amazing learning center. And they do have a lot of exhibits in there about Noah's Ark. They even have stalls and stuff like, you know, how you would live on Noah's Ark, I guess. But anywho, then we're going to go on up to Cincinnati from Georgetown on I-75, and then I-75 and I-71 connect together, and then we're going to go on up to Cincinnati. When we go across the Ohio River, I'll show you what lane to get in, you know, if you watch that part of the video. And then we'll take I-71 up to I-70. We'll take the bypass around Columbus. Then we'll take 70 over to Wheeling, West Virginia. And I live about 20 miles north of Wheeling. And then we'll probably hop on I-7, not I-7, but Highway 7, and go up to, I don't know, the internet says it takes 8.5 hours to get to Weirton, West Virginia. So it's 7:34 right now. And I don't know if it'll still be daylight when I get to Weirton or not. So we might not make it all the way there, but we'll film as far as we can. So if you want to check out my other channels, I'm also, you know, I'm Mr. Big Chris. That's what I go by. My name is Chris Haslam, Haslam. I kind of have an adventure channel. I'll make videos about anything, and I'm not trying to be as big as Mr. Beast or anything. I just really enjoy making videos, and I'm wanting to learn more about video creation and cameras and drones, and you know, I'm going to be 58 years old in a month, and I just want to do everything I can until I'm getting Yeah, so later on today, we're supposed to be getting into some 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And you can tell by, if you look at those clouds up there, they are booking across the interstate. All right. Let's see if we can get by this guy. Yeah, I have a Tacoma, and I also have a big top on my truck, the tallest you can get. It's an ARE top that the Amish build. It's beautiful. So, you know, I collect a lot of wind in this thing. All right, in a couple of miles, we're going to be up to the first Princeton, Kentucky exit. I tell you what, this next exit right here, exit 79, if you get off here and turn left, you'll go by a gas station, and then a little bit further on the left, you'll see a place called Heaton's Barbecue. And they're even open for breakfast. And they have some delicious barbecue there. And their sauce is so good. I usually stop and get by like a whole case of their sauce and take it back home with me, but they're open right now, but I'm not stopping today. Yeah, and if you turn right off this exit, there's on the first thing on the left is a, I think it's called Polly's Pizza. They got some great pizza there. It's like a home, it's like an Italian pizzeria. It's very popular. But you go up a little bit further, they've got everything you can think of just about here. They've got Captain D's, McDonald's, obviously. They got a Taco John's, Arby's. There's also a Taco Bell, a Subway. So if you get off here at exit 79 and turn to the right, you can basically get anything you want. Casey's convenience store. And to the left, there's a Marathon over there. That's the first thing you come to on the left. And there's also a bowling alley over there if you want to go bowling. And then there's a motel over there on the right. It's inexpensive if you go to the left. And then up on a little bit further is that Heaton's Barbecue. It's very yummy. So I grew up around here, and at the next exit is Highway 293, exit 81. And if you turn right off this exit, it will take you to Old Princeton. You'll go down the road about 2 miles, and you'll come to the courthouse square. They got a beautiful courthouse there. You can drive around the courthouse, all the old original buildings. It's the old downtown. I'm not sure what all kinds of stores they got down there now. And if you turn left here, they'll take you over to Providence, Kentucky. And that town is, it's kind of dead. My grandma, my grandparents, my mom grew up there, and I was born in Providence. Well, not in Providence. I was born at the Madisonville Hospital, but the first year of my life I lived in Providence. Been going there all my life. Went there on Christmas Day and seen my Aunt Nelda and my Aunt Jane. All my family. Had a great time. It's kind of weird that, you know, I'm almost 58. One time, right over there where that truck is, I had a 76 Buick, and I didn't know what was wrong with it. I bought a new battery for it, and my car was overheating, and I pulled over, and when I lifted the lid, the hood, I mean, the whole top of the battery blew off. like the battery, it didn't blow up, but it just blew the 2 caps, you know, it's like a 6-cell battery. We come to find out, my starter, then it wouldn't start. I put the caps back on there, and it was actually the starter was shorted out. This right here is called, now we're on this big hill, this is called Mile Hill. And if you're over there on Highway 62, that this hill has a couple of curves on it. Highway 62 is just about a half a mile to the right of us. So you know, back in the day, they built this parkway back in the late 60s, mid 60s. You know, all the traffic was on 62 before he was out here. There's a deer sign. Yeah, there's a lot of deer down through here. I guess you're really not on top of Mile Hill until you get up here. Top of this hill. You probably don't even look hilly on the camera. Yeah, there's gonna be quite of an experience. I don't think I can just run my mouth for 550 miles, but you know, I decided I wanted to start, if I'm driving places, I decided that I want to start filming. And, you know, I can buy I'm using a sand disc. I think that's the name of them. Those are my favorite memory cards. Well, I can get 512s, the good ones, for like $37. So, you know, I bought like 10 of them, and you know, I'm using an Ace Pro 2, Insta360 Ace Pros 2. I'm doing 4K at 60 frames per second. And that memory card will give me almost 12 hours of filming time. And that's what I do on my bicycle. I got a helmet. I put the camera, attach it to the top of my bicycle helmet. If you look at my other videos, I've got all these real long bicycle riding videos. I film the whole trail. Like, if the trail's 150 miles long, I'll ride it all and film it. And how I do it, I always wear a shirt that has a pocket in it, and I take one of those tire packs that you get off Amazon, and I just put it in my pocket. And I hook that, I got a wire that goes up to my camera. And I can just film all day. I can film, you know, if I put a new card in there, I can film for 12 hours. I have rode over 12 hours in one day. You know, in the summertime, it's daylight for like 15 hours. So, I'm wanting to make a bunch of long videos. Just like if I go on a trip, I want to turn this camera on and I just want to film it. If my lady Charlene is with me, and my dogs Lipo and Servo, we'll just turn it on, and you know, I'm just gonna make a bunch of driving videos. I don't care, you know, where I'm going. I would also like to make a bunch of videos how to get around in Pittsburgh. You know, like going to the Pittsburgh Stadium. Well, if you've never been there before, there's nowhere to park, you know. And I'd like to show the best way to go to that game is to valet park your car at the casino, and then pay one of those bicycle riders like 20 bucks to take you over to the gate where you can get into the game. You know, those bicycles, you know, they hold like 4 people. Used to, it was $60 to park at the casino. But the thing about it is, you pay $60 to park there, and then they also give you a voucher where you can gamble that $60. So I remember the time I went to a ball game there, that's what I done. And when the game was over, I went over to the casino and I won about $23 or something back of that money. And you know, so I didn't have to pay for all of it. Yeah, I'm satisfied you can win a little bit of your money back no matter what, but I think most people just keep playing until they lose the whole $60. I mean, you might as well play till the $60 is over with, and then but I don't smoke cigarettes, and they allow smoking in the casino, so I've only been there 3 times. I go in there, my eyes start burning. That's another thing I've been wanting to film is I'd like to film a lot of the traffic that I see out here. Like that car there, that black car there, it's not doing anything wrong. They're driving fine. I'm actually got my speed limit 70 and I've got it set on 75. But I do see a lot of crazy stuff out here. Alright, this next exit is a Dawson Springs, and it's also a Providence exit. But it's way closer to go to Providence if you're back at that other Princeton exit. This is Highway 109. If you go right, they'll take you down into Dawson Springs, and Dawson Springs doesn't have near as much stuff as Princeton does, but they got plenty. They got convenience store, gas stations. I know they have a grocery store and a McDonald's. Yeah, and a Dairy Queen. See here, they're showing Dairy Queen, Subway, Casey's. They might not have a McDonald's, but if you turn left here, you'll go about 20 miles to Providence. But now there's an extremely good place to go bass fishing about halfway between here and Providence. There is a swamp over there, and you can park on the side of the road and fish in there, or you could take a kayak. All I can say is look for it on Google and you'll see what I'm talking about. I have fished there many a times, caught some amazing fish. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see. Now we're only 114 miles from Elizabethtown. One time they changed the name of this road, and I can't remember what they changed it to. But it didn't really go over very well. People were confused. They didn't know. Even people were getting lost because they thought they were supposed to be on the WK Parkway, and they'd get on here. And they changed it to some dude's name that had something to do with, you know, he was a congressman or something. I don't really remember. But thank goodness they changed it back to the WK Parkway. And they've done that to all the parkways in Kentucky. They changed them all to somebody's name. Also, this used to be a toll road, and the first toll was pretty close to where we first got on that, and the second toll booth was right back there at the Dawson Springs exit. So when you have a toll booth, they were cloverleaf exits, and they were real tight turns too, so you go underneath the toll. go through the toll booth, and then you would have to do a clover leaf. Well, they were way tighter than they really needed to be. So what was happening is it used to, the toll booth would slow you down. So when you left the toll booth, either direction you were going, if you were getting off, you know, you would just take off and go around that big circle. But when they took the toll booths out, people were hitting that clover leaf at a high speed, and then they were just ramping right off. They were rolling over, ramping off of the clover leaf, so they end up putting in, they put in normal on and off ramps on all the old toll booths. Yeah, the other two toll booths were Central City, Kentucky, and Litchfield, Kentucky. Central City is mile marker 57, Litchfield is 107. So my favorite guy that does these drive around videos, and there's a lot of good ones on there, but there's only one that I know his name, and he's great. He drives he makes videos all over America, out west. He even came to Weirton one. There's a video where he drives through Weirton, West Virginia. But if you look him up on YouTube, it is one word. It's RVTVER. RVTVER. I mean, he makes some great videos. He's got a great voice. He edits his videos really good. And that's a great... He's a great person to travel America with if you want to do it from your couch or your phone. I have an 85-inch Samsung TV, and it's no real big expensive TV. It's just kind of big. You know, and these days everybody has one, but I watch YouTube at my house. And my house is built like in 1948, so the living room really isn't that big. So when people come over to my house, they first say, "Your TV is so big, I can't watch it because I'm too close to it." But then if they stay a day or two or a little while, then they'll finally say, "You know what? I really like this. This is a heck of an experience." So I travel the world on YouTube. Like, I'll look up, if I discover a place, there's these two girls that they're always on TikTok Live and YouTube Live, and their name is Jessica Lissette, and her sister Captain Jenny. Well, their parents and grandparents came from Cuba. So one day I just looked up driving around Cuba on YouTube, and there was videos driving around Cuba, you know, walking through their cities. Well, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I'm from Western Kentucky. My best friend from high school, they grew tobacco, 20, 30 acres every year. So they grow a lot of tobacco down in Cuba. So I looked up tobacco fields in Cuba. It was pretty cool. So I watched videos on how they grow tobacco in Cuba. It was a little bit different than how they do it here, but that's cool. The climate climate in Western Kentucky is different than a Cuban climate. So I guess in Cuba, you know, you can grow crops year round. You just, when that crop matures, basically, you know, you can plant a crop and then a month later plant another field beside of that, and then another month plant a field beside that, another one by that, another one by that every month, or however long, every 2 weeks, however you want to do it. So then eventually that original field will mature and you can harvest that, then either plant tobacco again or plant something else. You know, I didn't go in that depth on it, but yeah, even in Florida, you can constantly, you know, grow all year round for the most part. I know in the wintertime they have a freeze down there once in a while. But I bet the weather's froze in Cuba before too, even though it's only 60 miles from the southern point in Key West. All right, now we're approaching the split. I-69 is going to go to the left and go towards Madisonville, Kentucky, Henderson, Kentucky, and Evansville, and Indianapolis. You know, so if you want to go to Indianapolis, you want to turn left right here. And the WK Parkway is going to go to the right. And as soon as it splits, it's going to go back. It's going to have the original WK mile markers on it. Now, I'm a mile marker freak. Me and my ex-wife, back in 1998, we went to truck driving school. And we drove all over America for 2.5 years. And for the most part, it was a good time. And back then you had to write the miles down, I guess, for if it had just started. So we was traveling I-40 all the time, and I still know all the mile markers on I-40, all the way to Barstow. All right, so we're going to go to the right to stay on the WK, and they had to do a lot of work up here to make this an interstate. Supposedly, to stay on I-69, you're supposed to be able to keep the speed limit. You know, you're not, they wanted to make it where you don't have to slow down. And they did. So if you go left here, stay on 69, you don't have to slow down. Now, we're going to stay on the WK Parkway, and it's a little bit wild if you don't slow down a little bit. Okay, as soon as you get on here, there's the Pennyrile Parkway. South on the Pennyrile Parkway right there, that takes you to Hopkinsville. So this is the original part of the WK. And to go to Madisonville there was a big clover leaf right here. So you'd go over this bridge right here, and you would turn right, and it would clover leaf around, then you would go north on the Pennyrile Parkway. But now they've made an on-ramp right there, so if you're coming north on the Pennyrile Parkway and you want to go east towards Elizabethtown, you got a regular on-ramp. The next thing we're going to come to is the state police headquarters. It's a state police station. It's not their headquarters, not their big headquarters, but I always thought, man, you know, this would be a bad place to speed. It says right there, Kentucky State Police, next left. So now we're only 100 miles from Elizabethtown. Yeah, that used to be mile marker 38 to get off onto the Penny Ryle Parkway. There's a police station exit. There's an impound yard up there. There's even a Fiero in there. There's a Fiero that's been sitting in there for years. They have salt here. So I think it's, you know, it's also a, they have salt trucks and plow trucks and police station. Fishing right here, like on both sides of the road, like on the right side of the road right here is a swamp, and there's a road. This is Future 569 Corridor. What in the world is that? I've never seen that sign before. Now it's a lower mile. That's mile marker 41, and then we've been 41 miles on the WK Parkway now. Now it's the normal mile markers. Yeah, there's a lot of swamps, and they're kind of deep swamps, a lot of beavers, and I was trying to name of this little, there's a little river up here. I can't really remember the name of it right now, but I know it goes up to Fruit Hill, Kentucky. There's also a lot of stripper pits. So there are roads on both sides of this interstate. You can get on 62 and stuff if you look on the map. There's a lot of roads that go to these swamps that don't have gates on them, and they don't say no trespassing. So even though I grew up on Barkley Lake, and my mom's house is on the lake, I could fish in our yard. My stepdad, being that he was from around here, he knew all kinds of places to go. We would go places, and we would catch way bigger fish than we did in the lake. Bigger bluegill, bigger bass, bigger crappie. We didn't catch bigger catfish. Most of these area up here have those pollywags, those yellow catfish. So we're going into Muhlenberg County, and that may be that river, but I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to look it up. Okay, I remember the name of it. It's Pond River, P-O-N-D, just Pond River. Yeah, I'm looking out there. Y'all can't see it, but I'm looking at a lot of swamps here on the left side. I think you can't see it over there, but you could just pull over and go over the guardrail and fish. Like, say, if you just wanted to hit it for 10 or 15 minutes, you know, just jump out and fish on the side of the road off the WK Parkway or not, but you know, you could do it and then beg for forgiveness if the game warden showed up. Yeah, this next exit is exit 48, and of course we're running just parallel to 62. And I've been off this exit a few times. There's nothing here. You know, if you want to, there's no services on the road here. You would either have to turn right and go down to 62, and I don't even know which direction to turn to go to a store. There is saying there's some stuff here. Exit 48. It says there's I didn't even recognize, I couldn't even read what it said. I think if you get off here, you're going to have to turn right or left to go to a store. Yeah, that sign is saying that everything is to the right, so it'll probably be a mile or two down to Highway 62 or whatever. That wouldn't be a good place to get off if you're going to go to a gas station or something. But up the road here a little bit. Yeah, exit 58, the Central City exit, you get off there and you go to the left, they got everything you could think of just about there. Arby's, McDonald's, Dairy Queen. We are 87 miles from E-Town. Yeah, the next exit I think is exit 54. And I'll tell you something that happens on Tuesday mornings is called the Greenville Flea Market. I know it's weird that they have a flea market on a Tuesday morning, but it's ginormous. And the easiest way to get there is off of exit 54. Turn right, and you would want to Google it because it's not a straight shot, but you go to the right to get there. Yeah, my stepdad married my mom. My dad left my mom before I was born. So my mom was alone when I was born. And then I guess that summer, like, I was born in January of 68. In like August of 68, my mom, Judy, she met my stepdad, Jesse, at the bowling alley in Madisonville, Kentucky. All right, here we go. It's actually exit 53, Sacramento Greenville exit. And Sacramento, Kentucky is actually where my stepdad grew up at. And you talking about a small place, you blink and you'll be through there. Yeah, so you take exit 53 here, and there's no gas stations or nothing at this place. It's not very far to one if you Google it, I guess. But Greenville is where that Greenville flea market is. And these exits never were clover leaves because there wasn't a toll booth here. What they would really do is they would put, basically, they would have a toll booth somewhere, and then they would have an exit. They would have an exit on part of the road like this one. But if you got on here and drove down the road, you couldn't get off without going through a toll booth. But anywho, yeah, my mom and my stepdad, they met like in the summer of '68, and then they got married on January 11th of '69, and then my first birthday was January 30th. So I guess, you know, my stepdad married my mom 19 days before my first birthday. And he's a wonderful guy. He was a wonderful guy. I really miss him. He passed away back in '14. And he was a coal miner most of his life. They were strip miners. And his boss, his name was Stuart Winthrop from Madisonville, Kentucky. And all he done was he just owned some mining equipment, you know, like bulldozer, rubber tire loader, you know, a lot less stuff than you think. And he would just go to a farmer and he would make a deal with them to get the coal out of their land. Then after they harvest all the coal from that land, they would move to another place. And around here, around Madisonville, Kentucky, there's plenty of coal to dig, still is. But when they were building this parkway, like in the middle 60s, the parkway contracted the place my stepdad worked at, Jesse, his name was Jesse. And he said they came out here and they worked on building the parkway for a couple of years. And he worked on the part we're driving on right now. And my mom lived in Providence, Kentucky, when my mom met Jesse at the bowling alley. It's a bowling alley in Madisonville by the hospital where I was born at. And Jesse had an old house pretty close to there. So he was coal mining close to this next exit, exit 58, the Central City exit. So he found this old house to buy up here. So he bought my mom and me and my sister and himself a house on 8th Street in Central City, Kentucky. And he thought he would be close to work because they had a lot of work up here for quite a few years. So, I'll tell you what, he was about 15 years older than my mom. And for a guy that was 45 years old to take on a 28-year-old wife and a a newborn, which was me, and my sister 5 years older than me, that it takes a heck of a person. And he has 2 kids, Carolyn and Dawn. And they're not a whole lot younger than my mom, but they always treated me like family. Just, it was, we were very, very blessed to have Jesse, my stepdad. He was great. Right here is exit 58, and there was a toll here, but they still have the clover leaf. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a sharp curve right there. And you better watch out when you go up that clover leaf right there. You'll roll over, slide off the road if it's a little bit wet. Well, the next exit isn't for 18 miles. It's up at the Beaver Dam, Kentucky exit. We're going to go down through here, and we're going to go over the Green River. Yeah, my stepdad, the summer of '69, they went down to Catawba, Kentucky, and they bought a lot on Barkley Lake. And they built like a 24 by 32 2-story cabin down there. And they never built it to live in. Had a fireplace on one end in the basement, and for years we just had a check gravel floor, and we slept upstairs. And then around 1974, they got a contract for coal down on the other side of Dawson Springs, where it was actually closer to drive to work from our house at the lake, and this was going to last for years. So Mom and Jesse sold the house in Central City. I went to 2nd grade. I went to kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade in Central City, and we moved to the lake. I lived on the lake. It wasn't like I was spoiled really or anything, because it's kind of weird is that they didn't spend much to build our cabin, but people started building like $500,000 houses on that road and stuff. It's pretty insane. My mom still lives in that same house. She's 84 years old. I'll tell you one thing about Jesse, my stepdad. He was my daddy. I mean, he wasn't my sperm daddy, but he was my daddy. Is that he never, very rarely, ever tore anything up. He didn't spin tires. He didn't give stuff a lot of gas, like his vehicles. His lawnmower, he bought a Cub Cadet lawnmower. We let out all the clutch easy. We revved it up slow. And he taught me, if you respect your equipment, it'll last 3 times longer. And I have to agree with it. These are some pretty good curves for a parkway or I used to drive a propane semi up here a lot, and I'd slow down, you know, from 70 mile an hour. I'd usually slow down to about 55 or 60 to go through them curves, but I was always scared of that. I always respected a propane trailer because, you know, the center of gravity is quite a bit higher than say a flatbed trailer or a dry box. Directions to Weirton, West Virginia. So it's 479 miles. It says 7 hours and 24 minutes. So I'm still in Central Time. Okay, we're going over the Green River right now and entering Ohio County. We are eastbound on the WK Parkway. And we're going to make it all the way to the end of the WK Parkway. We're not going to miss an inch. I'm kind of disappointed because you can't look down there at the river, but I don't know, you know, it'd be kind of hard to have a camera where you can look like that. Yeah, so up here at Litchfield is where I'm in Central Time right now at 8:22, but we'll just call it 9. We'll just call it 9 o'clock so 7 hours. That would be 4:15 or 4:30 when I got home. But it gets dark at 5 or 5:15, so I don't know that. If I stop a couple of times, I gotta stop and buy gas at least once. So I don't know if I can make it all the way back. Yeah, so if you're watching this video right now, you know, we're at mile marker 67. We are 67 miles from I-24 in Western Kentucky. We're heading east to Elizabethtown, and that's going to be a video by itself. And but I'm going to drive all the way to Pittsburgh, basically to Weirton, where I live. I'm going to film all day, so I'm going to make another film on the Bluegrass Parkway. We're going to do every mile on the Bluegrass Parkway also today. And also that video will enable me to create a video on how to miss all the traffic in Louisville. So if you take the Bluegrass Parkway and you go to where it ends at the basically at where the big castle is at, we're going to turn left at the castle. It's 10 or 15 miles further to go that way, rather than going all the way to Louisville and going up 71. But I'm telling you, you are going to get stuck in traffic for maybe hours. And the best way to tell if a road is clogged up or not, and most people already know all this stuff. I'm just talking, and you know, you probably be like, oh, I already know all this, but maybe somebody doesn't. But if you Google, like say you're just driving right now and you're not even following directions, just say directions from here to Cincinnati. Well, it'll take you through through Louisville, I mean. And they'll have red and pink spots where the traffic's moving slow on your directions on your map. That's a good way to know if the road's clogged up or not. Now, I'm making this video on December 28th on a Sunday, and I'm satisfied I could drive right through Louisville and I probably wouldn't hit any traffic today. But if you're on a Saturday morning or a weekday, you may not want to go that way. You may want to go the way that go down the Bluegrass Parkway. You'll turn left at the castle, and if you're in a semi truck, you'll want to turn left off of exit 58 off the Bluegrass Parkway and go through Versailles. It'll be a few stoplights to get over to George, and we're going to go to Georgetown, north of Georgetown, and get on 75 north to go up to Cincinnati. Tell you what, last time I come down to see my mom, me, and my lady Charlene, and 2 dogs, Lipo and Servo, I thought I would get there sooner. So we show up about 2:30 in the afternoon. We're heading west. We're on the Gene Snyder Parkway, and it's not moving. I mean, we just pull up and every lane's full. And of course, I don't have my Google on, so I asked for directions, and it's red all the way to I-65 and all the way down to Elizabethtown. So we just got off the next exit and we drove through the woods down to, we just went straight south down to the Bluegrass Parkway and got on it and came over to Elizabethtown and got on this road. So we kind of escaped it. So now we're at exit 75. It's a Beaver Dam exit, Morgantown exit. Morgantown's towards Bowling Green. But here at exit 75, you can get off and go either way. I mean, go to the left, and there's a truck stop and a Huck's convenience store, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's, Wendy's, Huddle House. You can get anything you want here off of I-75 if you need something. But 2 miles up the road, there's actually a service center in the center of the road, and it has Arby's in it, restrooms. It's really nice, actually. That service center was there ever since this interstate was built, and I remember going in there when I was a little bitty kid. We lived in Central City. Sometimes we'd go to Bowling Green, you know, and we'd stop there, and Mama would buy stuff, and then they put some kind of restaurant in there. I'm not sure, I can't remember what it was. But now Huck's leased the center of the road up here, and they got an Arby's in there, and of course it's it's also a truck stop. They have truck parking, car parking. It's just a great place to stop. That's all I can say. Looks like it has a Godfather's Pizza in there now too, according to that sign. And it was an Arby's. I don't know if it's still in there or not. We'll see. There's where you turn in to go there. Let's see what it says. It says Huts, Pilot, Diesel. I don't think there's an Arby's in there now, but it says something about sandwiches and Godfather's Pizza. That's pretty cool. Now we're up to exit I think it's going to say exit 77, but this is the Pennyroyal Parkway. So if you go south here, you'll go to Bowling Green, Kentucky, into I-65. And if you turn left on 65, go north, you'll go to Buc-ee's. You know, so you're only about 40 miles from Buc-ee's right here. Matter of fact, it'd only be about 30 miles further to go to Buc-ee's. Going, you know, if you're going to E-Town, you get off here, this Cloverleaf, that'll take you to Owensboro, Kentucky, up to Highway 60. Yeah, the last time we came down here, we actually didn't get on. When we got off of the Bluegrass Parkway, well, before we got off the Bluegrass, my girlfriend, well, she's more my girlfriend. We're like married, but we're not married. But anyway, she wanted to go to Buc-ee's. We'd been to that Buc-ee's before. She was like, well, how much further is it to go to Buc-ee's to your mom's house? I said, oh, it's only like 30, 40 more miles extra. So I took her there. No problem. That's the only one I've been to. It's crazy. You got over 100 gasoline pumps. It's in Smithville, I think is the name of it. But it's just north of Bowling Green a few miles. But we're not going to Buc-ee's today. We're just going to stay on. We are on the West Kentucky Parkway right now, heading to E-Town. Yeah, the first time we went to Buc-ee's, I have a 21-foot Carolina skiff boat. And Clay Motorsports had some really good deals on boat motors. So I think it was like February 7th, my boat is at my mother's house. So we pulled the boat up to Clay Motorsports, which is on Lake Cumberland. Basically, it's on Lake Cumberland. It's a pretty far drive, you know, it's 150 miles or 175 miles or something from my mom's house. But anyway, we went up there and we didn't even know that Buc-ee's was on I-75. So we stopped at Buc-ee's, you know, it was like 7 in the morning or whatever. So I got all kinds of food, and they had a great. We were there about 30 minutes. We had a great time. So we went down, and it took them a couple hours. They put the motor on my boat and all this stuff. And so then we actually went to a fish hatchery, where they hatch trout, like lake trout, brown trout. It was right there by Clay Motorsports. We had a good time in that little town. So we go back and hook up to the boat. We start driving down the road, and we're like, Charlene, my lady, she goes, do you think we can stop at Buc-ee's again? I'm like, heck yeah, we're stopping at Buc-ee's again. We're going to stop there, and I'm going to get a pork sandwich and a brisket sandwich and back then I was still drinking Diet Mountain Dew. I'm like, I'm we get like a gallon of Diet Mountain Dew to drink back, because it was still like 130 miles from there back to my mom's house. We went in there, we bought like $60 worth of food and snacks, and I think I got a donut or two, and I don't even want to talk about all the stuff we got. Man, it was a lot. And I got back to my mom's house, oh, my stomach. Whew. So when we got back to her house, which was about 4 in the afternoon or something, you know, she's like, "Are y'all hungry? You want me to make you something to eat?" No. Matter of fact, I was thinking this to myself, I'm thinking about going outside and pretend like I'm an anorexic and empty this stomach out, you know. It was a good time. I don't know why going to Buc-ee's is such a good time. And if you think about it, you could get everything they got somewhere else. But I even left. We bought gas for we were pulling my boat with our Honda Ridgeline, and we bought gas for the Ridgeline and the boat, and we just left it parked at the island, at the fuel island, because geez, there was over 100 of them out there. Yeah, there is a lot of places you pull up and you have to wait to get fuel. I mean, I've been to places like that, not very many times, but at Buc-ee's, there is no question you're going to get a fuel island, and probably one on the side that your fuel or cap is at. What I done was I actually pulled up and put fuel in my boat gas tank, and then I backed up and put the fuel in the Ridgeline, and we just left it parked right there. We just went in, we just left her at the fuel island. No big deal. Clouds look wild on this camera. You know, if you're watching this video and you watch this part, leave in the comment if you think that I'm looking. I admit that my camera is kind of looking too high, you know, but if I move it down even a fraction of a little bit, you can see the tip. I got it where you can just barely can't see the tip of the hood. But I'm going to raise this camera up a couple more inches, and that way I can look down at the road a little bit further and still not see the hood. But I do have this camera directly in front of me, right in front of the steering wheel on top of the dash. But I don't want to get it up high enough where it starts getting in the way of my vision of driving. But I could come up a couple more inches and it won't be. Right now, when I look at the top of the camera, I can still see the end of the hood, so I don't think a law dog could get me for the camera being in my way where I can't see. I got my phone over here. It's on I got a holder for it. So it's legal for me to use my phone as long as it's in a handless holder. You just can't have your phone in your hand. Alright, we're up to mile marker 88. We're 88 miles into this journey on the WK Parkway. A lot of these videos don't have any talking, or they add some kind of music to it. At this point in time, we're entering Grayson County. At this point in time, I don't even know how to add music to this video. So all the way back to Weirton, this is going to be me blabbing. I'm actually having a pretty good time so far today. Most of the time, it takes me 10 or 10 and a half hours to make this drive. I did do it. I moved to Weirton in September of 2014. And one time I did make it down here in 8.5 hours. But I only stopped one time. I had a Honda Civic. I had a Honda Civic, a black Honda Civic. And I left Weirton. And I purposely didn't have anything to drink. I thought, well, I'm going to drive 4 hours to Covington, Kentucky, and I'm not going to drink. I don't want to stop and use the restroom or nothing. I just want to get there. And I did. And I left at a time when I knew the traffic was going to be bad in Louisville. And I actually took the route I'm taking today. I went down I-75, turned west north of Georgetown and came over to the Bluegrass Parkway. But I come down here to see my mom and a couple other reasons that I don't really want to talk about. It had something to do with the girlfriend I had back then. And I drove all the way down here and I only had 2 days off. So I had 48 hours off. Okay. And I was working night shift. So I left like at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. I think it was 8 that day. 8:30, because I would go to work at 7 at night. That was my start time, and I would get off at 7 or 8 in the morning, and I come down this way, and I would have 48 hours off. So I would drive, that day I drove 9 hours, 8.5 hours. And then I would get here. I got down to my mom's like at 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon. That's exit 94 right there. I was blabbing, and there is a marathon. Only thing there off this exit is a marathon, gas station, convenience store, and it's also a little truck stop. They got a lot of truck. So I had 48 hours when I had to be, or 36 hours. Let's figure this up. So, say I left at 8 in the morning. I had the rest of that day off until the next morning would be 48, would be 24 hours. And then I'm trying to figure out how many hours I had off working on night shift. So 24 hours would have been the next morning at 8 o'clock would be 24 hours. And then the next morning would be 48 hours. And then I had to be work at 7 that night, which would be, is that right? I had almost 60 hours off. I don't know. But I would come down, I would get there, I got there at 4 in the afternoon. I know this story is boring. So I'd get there and I'd visit, you know, and then I would go to bed. You know, I was used to working night shift, but I would go to bed and sleep all night. So I'd get up the next morning, I would be there all day the next morning, the next day. And then the next morning I would get up and I would leave at 6 or 7 in the morning, and I would drive, and I would just bring my work clothes with me. I would drive all the way back to Weirton, then go to work all night, and get off at 7 or 8 the next morning, and then I would sleep until I had to go to work. And it would take me a week or more to catch up. I mean, this seems like I could never catch my sleep back up after I would go on a trip like that. Like, so coming down here, you know, I would spend, you know, almost 20 hours of my time off driving back and forth, and really only get to spend one day at home, and then drive back and then go to work the moment I got there. And that was a miserable night. I hope to never ever live and have an experience like that again. One thing I can say about this part of the WK Parkway, it's beautiful. I mean, it's basically Kentucky wilderness, except for the interstate part. You know, the road and the guardrails and the signs. But once you go past that, You don't really see a lot of civilization on this road, except for, you know, the exit. There'll be a little bit on each side there. We're going to pull over for a second. Yeah, we'll be back on the road here in a moment. We just got to pull over for about 45 seconds. I don't think I'm going to edit this. Yeah, another truck's getting ready to blow by us over there, and we're gonna take off. There are so few people out here that I can honestly say, usually when I'm driving on the WK Parkway, that you're almost always driving by yourself. Like over there right now, there's two campers. Those guys are probably together, and then there's a car. You know, they could be going down to land between the lakes. Yeah, you hear my motor kicking in right there. That the cruise control on this truck will really give it a lot of fuel to get it up to, like, we're going 75 right now. Yeah, so this is my first traveling video I've ever made like this. I don't know how much to talk, how much to be quiet. Would people rather me not talk? I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying talking. You know, then when I post this video, you know, as long as YouTube exists, or my video, or it don't get taken down, I can always come back, and even for myself, I can relive these moments again. Day before yesterday, I made a video about getting off I-24. I went down the trace south down to land between the lakes. I went to the canal that connects the two lakes. Then I went over and I done a loop. then I went down into Grand Rivers, went, you know, showed where everybody where Patty's is at, Patty's restaurant, and sailboats on Kentucky Lake, and I went to Kentucky and Barkley Dam, and went to the boat ramps, went to the beach in Kentucky at both dams, and that video ended up being 2 hours long. And then when I'd pull up to I was using this camera to drive around with, and then I would use another camera. I would stop and I would get out, and I would like at each dam, at a parking lot at a dam, and I would look at the, you know, show the dam and the water and some people fishing. And I'm thinking that's going to be a pretty good video. I'm not really worried about how many people watch it, but if somebody wants to come to, you know, Kentucky and Barkley Dam and go to Patty's to eat, and they want to go fishing and stuff, you can watch this video. And if you watch this video in your spare time, you'll know where to go. It'll be helpful to somebody, I'm sure. I made a lot of bicycle riding videos like that. Okay, this is exit 107. This is the Brownsville, Kentucky's to the right, to the south of here, and Litchfield's to the left. And Litchfield has everything. They got a super Walmart, the McDonald's, Captain D's, all kinds of restaurants. You know, Litchfield's a nice place. Let's just be clear. And this was the location of the last toll booth on the WK Parkway. And it used to be cloverleaf exits here. Now you can see they got normal exits. So you pull the toll booth was right underneath this bridge. You pull right in here and you'd slow down, and one section had a human there if you didn't have change, and if you had correct change, there was one or two other ones, you know, you could, yeah. So that's exit 107. You know, so we're 107 miles from I-24 where we started at. And it's only 30 more miles to I-65. Yeah, so 30 miles will conclude all the miles on the WK Parkway. But we're going to be filming all day, all the way back to Pittsburgh, basically. So I'll be posting. One video is going to be all the miles of the WK Parkway, and that may be what you're watching right now. And it's going to be from the Huck's truck stop there on I-24, getting off onto I-24, leaving there, getting on I-24, doing all the miles here on the WK, and this video will conclude when we get on to I-65 north. Then I'm going to drive a couple of miles, then I'm going to get on the Bluegrass Parkway east. And I think it's about 70 miles down to the castle where I'm going to turn left at. So I'll put a video on there every mile of the Bluegrass Parkway. And then I'm going to keep on going up to to Cincinnati. And then I'll post a video on how to go around Louisville. Like if you're on I-65 north and you come by Elizabethtown and you don't want to get caught in all that traffic and save yourself hours of anguish and pain and torture, or if you just want to see something different, then I know it's only about 10 miles further. You know, you can, I'm going to have a video on how to to skip Louisville, it'll be every mile the WK and going around, basically around Georgetown and getting on I-75 north and going all the way to Cincinnati. That'll be a video by itself. And then I'm going to keep on going, you know, so then I'll be going, you know, across the Ohio River, and, you know, at that point, 75 and 71 are together, so I'm going to show how to go through Cincinnati. I'll make another video how to go to Cincinnati and what lane to stay in, to stay on 71 north and, you know, drive maybe all the way up to Columbus or something. Then I'll make another video from Columbus to Wheeling on I-70. And if it's still daylight, I may make a video, you know, riding from Wheeling to Weirton. You know, why not? You know, I'm out here, might as well do it. Exit 112 here, you can get off here, and there's only one Marathon convenience store over there, and I've been there before, and it's up there on the right, and it's a nice place, and they used to cook food in there. I don't know if they do now. I haven't been in there in about 10 years, but it looks like it's all the same. I like to watch TikTok live, and I like to watch people that are doing stuff, like working on. I actually bought an embroidery machine. I actually bought a sewing machine. I'm going to learn how to make t-shirts. And I've always wanted to make. I'm overweight. I'm on a weight loss journey actually, but I've always wanted to learn how to make t-shirts. So if I met somebody that can't find a shirt, I wanted to learn how to make them a shirt so they would have a shirt to wear. There's a lot of overweight people who suffer that they can't find stuff to wear. But now there's a couple of websites now that, you know, you could probably get something. Now I'm down to a 5X shirt. At one time I weighed about 475, and right now, well, I got down to about 325, but I've gained about 25 pounds. But at least I didn't gain all that weight back, and I'm back dieting again. So I'm pretty excited that a lot of people will be like, you know, some people are like, yeah, you know, you're basically stupid, you know, for gaining weight again, but at least I gained a little bit back, and now I'm dieting again. I mean, that's cool. I'm not worried. I'm happy about it. But so I like to watch stuff. You know what I'm leading up to? I just like to watch people do stuff on TikTok. A lot of people are like, TikTok, I'm I'm not going on there, you know, that's a bunch of junk. But people don't realize you can watch, there's people doing whatever you like to do live on there. I mean, they're making anything you can think of, building remote, I like remote control stuff. There's people on there live doing that. There's people cooking. There's people whittling on there. I watch people make arrowheads. I've watched people do everything on there. I love it. Now, I watch people live on YouTube also, but YouTube, it's harder to get qualified to go live on YouTube. And I think there's more rules too, so I got quite a few followers on TikTok. I am Mr. Big Chris 620 on TikTok. Mr. Big Chris is one word, my YouTube channel. Of course, if you're listening to this, you're watching it on YouTube right now. But if you want to go to my TikTok account, you just add 620 to the one word, Mr. Big Chris. I've got about 25,000 followers on there, I think. A lot of these people, they're like, you know, my videos don't go nowhere. They only get 200 or 300 views on TikTok. Well, you have to make a good video. If you make a good video, I got videos on there that's got a few million views. It's just got to be something funny or good, and people, and you'll get a lot of views. That's all I can tell you. I've got videos on there that've gotten 150 views or whatever, and I've got videos on there that got a few million views. My few million view videos is just, I can tell you, if you're watching it, listen to this, I'll tell you a trick that you're probably not even interested in doing. But like I was saying earlier in the video, I have an 85-inch TV at home. I can tell you how you can trick, like YouTube computers and TikTok, their computer, is that I will film my TV with my phone camera or another camera. So I filmed some windmills that make electricity blowing up. Like the bearings are melting down and the whole thing catches on fire and the blades fall off and the whole thing comes down. So I stole some of that footage off of YouTube, but I filmed it from my TV with my phone, vertically. Then I made that footage into a TikTok video using that footage in my own voice. I overdubbed it, and those are basically how I made the biggest videos I ever made. But what happens is, when you post that video, their computers know if you stole that footage or not. Say if you stole that footage with a home computer, a PC, and you edited that into a TikTok video, TikTok knows that you stole that footage. Okay? But if you use your phone and film that footage off your TV, TikTok thinks it's an original video because it is. You filmed it with your phone. Well, you might be ready to turn me in or something right now, but that's how I done it, and it didn't hurt nobody, you know. I didn't make any money, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's see what exit we're up to now. We are at exit 24. 124, I'm sorry. This is the Eastview White Mills exit. And I can tell you something about this exit. I have never been off it before. And it says there's a BP gas station up here somewhere. But this exit, you could only get off of it from this direction. And when you got back on it, you could only go back west on it. So you couldn't get on here and go towards Elizabethtown. And if you was coming from Elizabethtown, you couldn't get off here. But in the last few years, they have added exits on the other side. So now you can get off there and get back on like at a normal place. But used to you couldn't. You'd get off there and it would say no. Before you got off, it said no exit or something to get back on the West Kentucky Parkway East. I can't remember exactly how I worded it. Sprinkles of rain here. There's nothing I can do about that, so it'll probably, you know, mess with the video a little bit, having a few sprinkles here and there. I do have Rain-X on my windshield, so today, even if it starts raining, I'm just going to keep on filming. I want to film this trip, so we're just gonna keep on having a good time. Yeah, we're 10 minutes from I-65, so every mile of the West Kentucky Parkway video going eastbound, basically from Catawba, Kentucky to Elizabethtown, this video will be over with in 11 miles. But if you stay with me and watch more videos, like if you come back and watch more videos, this video may be in some other videos too, this footage. Bump there. I didn't even realize. I mean, I seen the black spot, but it seems like such a long day. You know, I'm, you know, halfway there. Like, I'm going all the way to Pittsburgh, basically, to Weirton, West Virginia. You're not halfway there until you get to Covington, Kentucky, to Cincinnati. About 10 miles before I get to Cincinnati will be half of my day. I've been about 130 miles of 550-mile trip. I'm going to ask my phone again how far it is. Directions to Weirton, West Virginia from here. 412 miles, 6 hours and 25 minutes. If I wasn't videoing today, I would probably go through Louisville today, because I know there's no traffic up there today, but I'm wanting to make a video on how to avoid all that traffic on a regular day, so we're going to go the Bluegrass Parkway way. Probably have to quit filming before I get home because it's going to get dark. It's cool. I'm just out here doing the best I can. I have to buy gas one time. Up to exit 133, and they have built a new Love's truck stop here. Airport's also off of 133. There's also the Fort Knox exit, but you can probably see the Love's truck stop sign over there. Off exit 133 on the WK Parkway east, and it has a Hardee's in it. And it also has, wow, they got the truck tire shop back there too. Yeah, when I get home tonight, I'm going to watch the new episode of Landman, give my lady a hug, Charlene, and most of all, pet my dogs. I've been gone since last Monday. There's videos if you want to see my dogs. I got videos of the dogs. You can find them on my channel. but they're about 75% Lhasa Apsos, and they're about 25% Toy Poodle. And they're absolutely gorgeous dogs, and I love them. All right, this exit 136 right here is Highway 31W. Highway 31, that's a famous road. Runs north and south. The next exit we're going to take, we're going to get on to I-65. So this concludes every mile of the WK Parkway, all 137 miles, from I-24 to I-65, starting in Catawba, Kentucky, and ending here in Elizabethtown. I'm getting ready to turn right onto this clover leaf to get on 65 north. And if you watch this video, I appreciate it. You probably turned the volume down. I don't know. It don't matter. We had a good time. If you had a good time with me, I had a good time with you. You know? All right. I'm going to keep on running this video. We're not going to conclude it completely yet until we get on I-65. So if you're going to get on 65 north, now you want to get in the left lane. Okay. Because if you stay over there, you'll just get back on the WK Parkway and you'll head back west. When I get up here, I start looking in the mirror because I want to get over as soon as I can. Just start looking. Because I-65 is going to be busy. Just try to find you a hole. Right. All right. Well, now we're going to end the West Kentucky Parkway video, and thanks for your time. That's it.
It slid out when you did it.
Thank you guys. Pittsburgh Police here to see the show. Yeah, we're gonna get this camera on the way down.
You almost got it.
You know?
And like they said, you made it further than any of us could have made it.
Grab all that. Man. I'll be back.
Carry that one?
No. I'll be back after I lose some more weight.
They're headed towards you. Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't have time.
They're gonna bite me?
Sorry. They're just
excited?
Yeah, they're just excited.
Well, they don't seem like they're trying to bite me now.
She has a little bit of leash aggression. Stop it. Sorry.
All right, it's okay. Well, this should be pretty interesting.
Better like, subscribe, and comment on the video.